Howdy YouTubers, I'm going to walk you through how I kit bashed a Province and Worcester transfer caboose from an Athearn bay window Conrail caboose. So let's take a look. First thing I did is remove the catwalk from the roof and the ladders from the ends. I'm going to have to fill these holes with plastic putty and remove the logos, weather down or fade the blue, and then put the P&W lettering on it. Okay, the holes are filled with Testors plastic putty, and we've got some pieces of styrene on the ends, which I'll cut to match the roof pitch, and that'll give an overhang like the prototype. Okay, so far the shell of the caboose has patch outs of the Conrail numbers and logos, as well as patch out of the numbers on the ends. I've also put these overhangs at the end of the caboose because the prototype has more of an overhang than kind of a V-shaped pitch, if that makes sense. And the holes have been plugged up, and that smokestack is prototypical, so I just kit bashed that versus what came with the Athearn model. And it will be, once it's dull coated and then weathered and oxidized, everything will kind of blend together. So right now it's very rough, but I'm pretty happy with how it's coming out. I think for oxidizing, I may use an oil-based paint technique that I've been seeing a lot of online. So we'll see how that goes. There's the transfer caboose with rough paint, Province and Worcester lettering, patch outs, red on the front end as they have it. And it'll be dull coated and then weathered. For the base, I put, that's got to be dulled out obviously. They put a metal plate and took the letters off on the prototype, so I did the same. And these actually will be, see when it fits together, it looks like that. So it's coming together. This is my experimental boxcar that I've been using for trying different oxidizations. Nothing I like yet. There is the finished transfer caboose, modeled after the former Conrail, now Province and Worcester. The prototype is 2116. I made mine 2112 just because I wanted to. And it's got the red paint on the, I guess what would be the front end, because it's being used for shoving. And there's a metal plate. The letter's been removed. There's a metal plate, and there's also a plate on the brake column. And this piece here has a fascia board, if you will. The model didn't come that way, but the prototype has it. And then the smokestack, you can see, is modeled after the prototype, as are the patch outs and the grime and the oxidization, which was done with the oil paints, powdered pigments, and washes. So next up is going to be putting on electric pickup trucks that are going to be Athearn, and I will have a flashing old style end of device light that'll be right up in that corner like the prototype, and there'll be lights in the interior, and that's all one DCC board that has that all those functions. And the light can either be on red or it can be flashing red. So products used primarily was an Athearn caboose, and then for the oxidization I tried this oil paint technique, which you have to get linseed oil paint because it dries faster and it's just a better quality. So I got this Gamblin product from Michael's, titanium white, and then this cobalt blue Windsor and Newton. Both are linseed oil paint, or that's the vehicle. And the trick is, it's really kind of trial and error, but I've seen a lot of folks say that put a bit of the base color, so in this case this is close to the Conrail blue, just a touch of it, and then the white, so it's not completely white, and then you just do a dry brush and you can kind of stab it or brush it depending on what kind of a finish you want, how smooth or how streaky you want it, and it works surprisingly well. So there's airbrushing, there is a Tamiya, I think it's called like X-21 or something, that is a flat base that actually folks have talked about using that as an oxidizer, and of course the airbrush works well, but I currently am not an expert at airbrushing. So these are the trucks that I'll be putting on it. They're Athearn caboose trucks, so they have a little generator on the side, but they have pickup contacts on both sides and 2 wires per truck, so that should give me good power, and they're nice high quality trucks. And then my favorites, this is the enamel rust wash that I use, and this is a black wash that I use, and a lot of the detailing was done with styrene, so I'm starting to use this Tester's styrene cement, which works great. And Conrail blue, I actually mixed dark blue, light blue, and I found that a touch of green, flat green, actually was a perfect match by eyeball, and I used that to paint some add-on parts. These columns here are on the prototype, they were not on the model, so those are painted, as well as these plastic, steel plates that I made out of styrene. I think that's it for what I did with styrene. Yeah, it's those ends and those columns. And I had to kind of be a bit creative with how I made these frames so that I could take the top of the caboose off if I ever have to service the decoder board. And it's all one piece, and then there's a piece of styrene on the inside there that holds it from moving forward, and then I've got a piece on either end, you can see where the tip of my thumb is, to keep it from moving back. So it looks like it's a permanent part of the structure, but it actually, I could take the top of the caboose off and these arches actually stay put onto the base. So that's it. It's pretty weathered, pretty beaten up looking. I like it. It'll be used as a shover caboose. It'll actually be in this direction with the red facing north, because that's where I'll be shoving cars. So when I'm doing my operations and I'm approaching grade crossing, that caboose will precede the consist of rail cars when it goes over the crossing. And then it comes back with the train. And at the end of the session, I could either park it on one of the sidings, but I'll probably put it at the head end of one of the cut of the cars here in the little yard. So it's going to add another element of operational realism, and that again is based off Province Worcester's prototype. I think they've since painted that Conrail caboose, first like a brown and then kind of a red, white, and blue. There's pictures of it online. But I wanted that older, really grungy, but very utilitarian look, which I think I got. So we've got the caboose, and I'll update you once I've got the electronics put in. We've got the OTM tracker, so it's coming together. Signal lights, it's red because I haven't reset it. And then what I'm working on here is I've got one of these 60 foot flat cars. So this is gonna actually have a ramp and rails, and I'll have some MOW equipment. So that'll be teamed up with that OTM tracker, and during the app sessions, somebody can pull out that maintenance away train and park it so that work can be done in between operations. So I continue to add realism and different interesting elements. Now the Chevrolet caboose. I'm pretty excited to get that lighting in there. Hope you like it, and if you've got comments or questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks.